My friend is out of control. She ruined my wedding. You ruined my dream journal.
That's OP's friend if they were an automobile.
I, 31 female, have been friends with someone I'm going to call Mia, 31 female, since before I knew my husband, 31 male. Everyone's 31. We were more friends by association who liked to go out during college breaks, but got a lot closer when we both needed a roommate and decided to move in together. By the way, this comes from Dangerous Noise 7356 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I didn't have any other options except someone random, and at the time, we were in our going out phase, so we had a lot of fun times. Mia has always made some questionable decisions regarding booze and boys. I want to clarify and say I've definitely made bad choices too, but I really try to learn from them. Mia did some things I would never do, like knowingly being the other woman. But I tried really hard not to judge her because I'm just not that kind of friend. As I progressed in my relationship with my future husband, Mia and I started growing apart. I started going out less and less. I was no longer enjoying drinking booze, and my capacity for socializing and staying up late had reduced dramatically. Mia still lived and loves that lifestyle. Again, no judgment. I do start to get a little judgy when you're wasted and dramatic actions cause problem for others, yourself and myself. I had learned to never stay out too late with her or I would become her designated babysitter.
That is a very, very fair thing to, I mean, I think judge is one word, but also just like to have a reaction to that's just like, oh, are you serious? Like, now we got to deal with this version of you.
Some things I dealt with when we lived together was her vomiting every weekend morning, her trying to crawl into bed with me and my husband, her sisters calling me, trying to find her wandering the streets at 4 a.m., and providing her with tons of emotional support as she knowingly continued to make decisions she shouldn't have. It was getting really hard to have any empathy for her. I watched as she moved from friend group to friend group, burning bridges every step of the way. She ended a friendship because she refused to believe a guy she liked hit on that friend. She was kicked out of a wedding party and disinvited from the wedding. She demanded constant care and attention, but never really tried to reciprocate. My husband's friends didn't like her. Some of my friends didn't like her, but tolerated her for me. So many red flags that I chose to ignore. Fast forward to me getting engaged. The first time we hung out after she wastedly asked me to be a bridesmaid, to which I laughed off and hoped that she wouldn't remember asking. I knew I could never have her as a bridesmaid. Bridesmaids are your closest, most trusted friends to help you through a couple of really stressful but also amazing days. I knew Mia was not capable of being there for me the way I needed. I decided to only have my two closest friends and blamed it on keeping things small. Even thinking about her as a bridesmaid made me anxious because she's so used to me catering to her. She did go on my bachelorette, where she also caused me stress. She was upset she couldn't sit with me and my friend whose flight we booked together. She's just very immature, like a high schooler who's used to getting her way. It was an hour flight. We had trouble understanding why that was a big deal for her. She's flown alone a lot for work. Through most of the bachelorette trip, I had to gentle parent her. She was always asking questions or worried. It was clear she had some anxiety issues, but to my knowledge, she has never tried to get professional support. I would literally have to say things like, "Oh no, that's no fun. What do you think you can do about it?" She tries to put her anxiety on others to find answers, and let me tell you, I did not have the time or energy for that. Fast forward to closer to the wedding, she starts seeing a man whose age cannot be identified, but a good 10 to 20 years older, we think. This man loved to go out and loved to act like a big timer, and he had money. Now, I'm not sure he's like loaded, but he's an older single white guy, so he's good. He starts taking her to places like New York, Kansas City, the Era Tours, rooftop bars, nice dinners, etc. I was a little concerned for her being a sugar baby situation, but she said she was happy and having fun, and again, who was I to judge? I asked about their spicy life, and she told me their relationship isn't about that. Whatever that means, but okay. Fine, that's private. The only reason I ask is because we've been really open and candid with each other about things like that prior. So the wedding is coming up, and all of mine and Mia's mutual friends can't come to my wedding, so she had no one to go with. So I did what I felt was right and invited her partner to the wedding because it was a destination wedding, about a 7-hour drive. I did not know this man, and it was a small wedding, but I wouldn't want to go to a wedding alone either. He couldn't come because of not having time off work, is what I was told. At that point, Her social anxiety is spinning out of control, and she starts asking me a ton of questions about the wedding. Like, who's coming? Where to go? Who can she ride with? Again, in the theme of gentle parenting, I said, I don't know, babe. That sucks. I'm sorry. But here are some people you can reach out to. I refuse to get sucked into making arrangements for her. At this point, it may sound like I'm a crappy friend to a person that is clearly struggling, but let me explain. I work as a mental health therapist who understands that boundaries are the key to healthy relationships. I had boundaries with Mia before I even knew what they were. I, at the same time of all of this, was dealing with PTSD symptoms because a family member used my wedding to start drama that they can be bitter about for the next 10 years. I was not okay. The little energy I had went into trying to be able to show up to my wedding and have a good time despite all the triggers I was experiencing. So I was probably not a good friend, but I felt like I did all I could within the circumstances. Also, I feel like, you don't necessarily, like, if you're not going to have a good time at a wedding, you don't have to go through with like a big wedding. But you've already done it, so it's not like...
We all know how I feel about it.
We
or
do.
we should at this point.
Secret wedding.
Secret wedding first, and then you
Secret,
can have the
secret
big
wedding.
wedding, and everyone can be annoying, and you can be like, you know what? Oh my God, I don't even have to care because I already had my wedding.
I had also tried to suggest counseling to Mia. Okay, never mind. It seems like OP has kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she never seemed to take it seriously. So with her anxiety in full force, she starts badgering my friends whose contacts I gave her. Most already had plans and were couples, but she was extremely persistent to the point that the nicest human/best friend I have ever met said, I wanted to say something like, I'm not here for you, Mia, this weekend. I'm here for the bride. One of my maid of honor's partners couldn't come, so they drove together and decided to share a room. Seemed like a great solution. So the week before the wedding, she's texting me constantly as I navigated a crisis within my family / was getting ready for my wedding.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
She asked me to a movie months in the future, to which I said, sure, but because I literally couldn't deal with it. This does matter later.
You're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that,
Yeah.
Would you love me if I was a worm? Yeah, I would. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Yes.
Moving on. So the day of the rehearsal dinner rolls around. My husband and I are frantically trying to make sure everyone is bedding. We stayed in these cabin-like vacation homes. She rolls in, singing and skipping while I'm literally panicking about family stuff and the accommodations. I knew myself well enough that I knew I needed some space from her and texted my maid of honor to ensure Mia doesn't stress me out further. This is when things truly escalate. This all before was vaguely annoying, but whatever. No one is perfect, everyone has their things, and she hadn't done anything egregious. Mia starts panicking about how to get to the welcome party / rehearsal dinner after party. I don't know when this became the norm, but it seemed mandatory to host one for the destination wedding. My maid of honor was going early because she was in the rehearsal / invited to the rehearsal dinner, which was close family and the wedding party only. Mia told maid of honor she was going to ask me if she could just ride down with me. And maid of honor specifically told her not to bother me about that. At least you have a good maid of honor.
Yeah. That is true.
Mia did anyways. That was my last text from her for months afterwards. I didn't reply. I just couldn't. There's only 70 other people here, all headed to the same place. You'll be fine. I do actually start to feel bad. It must be hard to be at a wedding knowing hardly anyone. Most of the weddings I've been to, but okay. And not having someone to have dinner with. I totally get that and so appreciated she cared enough for me to put herself through that.
Nice. Okay, so OP's a little bitter.
Yeah, OP's like, I'm
just
so
a little bitter.
appreciative.
Just a little unsweetened licorice here.
However, there were things that would happen later that were not okay. My husband's friends and family are all so welcoming and inviting, we knew it wouldn't really be a huge issue. She got a ride and she made it to the party. She came wasted and ready to party. She pre-gamed the wedding.
That's a problem. She needs help. She needs help. She's got problems.
I knew exactly what happened without being there. At dinner with hubby's friends who probably ordered double shot drinks and Mia loving booze and feeling socially anxious, just started throwing the back. So she comes in wasted and does the, oh, hi, I love you, wasted girl thing all over to me, to which my friends immediately swoop in to distract her. I actually have a really funny OK story time about that. But I'll wait until we get to a stopping point.
Okay.
The torture.
She actually starts ordering double Grey Goose on the rock at our open bar, using a significant portion of the amount allotted for the night. Then she starts telling people how her and her boyfriend were looking at rings and thinking about getting married. I don't know if my bridezilla was showing, but I just felt like that's a tacky thing to bring up at someone's wedding. It was giving, I'm not the main character today, so how can I get some attention? It was even more ridiculous of a brag when she then started hitting on some of the single guys. These are people she knew and had met before. They're my husband's friends. She had never expressed any interest in the main 2 guys she was hitting on.
That's a weird thing to maybe be cringy at.
Also,
right?
literally right after you said that you're thinking about getting married to someone and then you're hitting on people.
Yeah, like she meant like someone.
She's like,
I don't mean anyone specifically.
My boyfriend in the future and I are thinking about, I don't have a boyfriend currently, but like in the future I will have one.
Like
and
that guy right over there, he might be that guy.
At one point, my husband and I are talking to my aunt and uncle, who I hadn't seen in years, and she throws herself all over my husband to ask, who's single? And then OP says, not you, remember? You're looking at rings with older gentlemen. Oh, right. The boyfriend who's kind of the boyfriend that was kind of like a sugar daddy situation.
And he sounds like this, for real. He really sounds like this.
It was just so cringe and sad to watch. I literally swerved away from her because I was at my limit. Then she starts to get so visibly wasted that some of our other guests had to put her in a car and drive her back. Get her out of there.
Yeah, get her out of there.
I'm not around for what happens next, but I was told by maid of honor. Mia gets back and starts losing her mind, calling her boyfriend, threatening to cheat, having literal screaming matches over the phone in the room she shared with maid of honor before calling her sister, sobbing, and vomiting in the shared bathroom for a long time when others were trying to get ready for bed. Yikes.
Well, you can't really blame her. I mean, you can blame her for that. At some point, her actions were guaranteed that outcome, but
yikes.
Yeah, it's like you'd rather her be doing it in there than anywhere else.
That's true.
Let's be honest.
She even took the trash can out of the bathroom to keep near her bed. Oh, well, that's fair.
That's a bad night.
Yeah. The secondhand embarrassment I feel is so strong, and I'm embarrassed to have a friend like that who is so inconsiderate to my other friends. That's just not okay in my book. Anyone that noticed her the night before was like, is she okay? We're concerned. The only answer, she does this all the time. She could go pro in getting sloppy wasted. This was definitely the worst of it. I was so upset at how she had been treating my friends, as if they need to babysit this 31-year-old woman. My friend, a few years younger, drove alone, stayed alone, and did it all herself without knowing a soul. Love you, girl. And she was perfectly fine. The next morning, she woke up in her shared room with maid of honor. Maid of honor, being kind and lovely, asks if she wants to talk about last night. Mia apparently said something along the lines of, why? Nothing happened. I think she was just in complete denial about her behavior, or just like didn't remember anything.
Or she's just like, this is just how this is a normal way to be.
What are you talking about? That's just how me and my boyfriend say I love you.
That was like, what do you guys don't do that once a week?
I've seen it happen before with all of her ex-friends. She is never in the wrong. Everything is always about other people. And zero accountability for her actions. The wedding day, she was quiet. She just said hi to us as she passed us getting ready. She came to the wedding where I sat her next to people she knew, and she acted like everything was fine. She posted one picture of our table setting saying, congrats, bride and groom. Literally capital letters or no punctuation or any indication she was genuinely happy for us.
It was just like, and she really phoned in the congratulations.
Yeah. I ended up having the best day of my life and had the best time dancing the night away with my new husband, friends, and family. At one point in the night, I had to go back to our main house to use the restroom, and Mia stopped my maid of honor, asking her to look for a plunger because she clogged a toilet. Karma, is that you, girl? My maid of honor had to basically ignore her and tell her to figure it out. She was literally carrying my dress into my room. Her and my maid of honor drove home in silence, quite the opposite of the ride there where she talked the entire time to my not as chatty maid of honor. All she said to my maid of honor was, sorry, I'm not talking more. I'm really tired. Maid of honor was fine. So after all of this, she doesn't reach out to me for months. I hadn't expected her to. Again, being familiar with the ways all of her friendships have ended, I knew she wasn't the type to address it. I honestly thought that was it for our friendship. I was sad. I enjoyed spending time with her, doing things besides drinking. She was funny and lively and liked a good time. I've definitely been lonelier since, but I am happier to not be giving this friendship any more energy. I was surprised 2 months after the wedding, she texted me about the movie we had planned before the wedding to see.
Well, at least she's thoughtful.
Yeah. She's like, remember what we said months ago?
Are you someone who doesn't keep their promises?
It was literally, hi, are you driving to the movie or do you want to go together? Like day of? Like an hour before the movie? She's like, hey, see you at the movies. As if nothing had happened or the fact we haven't spoken in months. I was flabbergasted. I responded the only way I could, honestly. I told her I was upset with her behavior at the wedding and needed space, but I would happily Venmo her for the ticket so she could take someone else. Her response to that was that she was also upset and needed space. I didn't even try to think of a reply to that. That told me everything I needed to know, which was there was no talking rationally with this person about her behavior. I had seen the pattern play out so many times, but for whatever reason, I thought our friendship was different, and it wasn't. It honestly was a long time coming, but still hard, especially with how hard it is to make new friends as an adult. She actually ended up getting engaged to the older gentleman in Paris in front of the Eiffel Tower about a month after she texted me. Cool. It honestly...
Cool.
It honestly makes me sad for her because I could tell she wasn't happy. She liked the life he gave her, but I was having a hard time believing she was genuinely attracted to him or interested in him because he was basically the opposite of the guy she usually went for. And her trying to get with other dudes at my wedding really proved that to me. I feel like she's getting trapped in this marriage of convenience. The timing of all of this is super coincidental too. She had gotten kicked out of another friend's wedding not long ago and was not asked to be a bridesmaid for my wedding, and she had another friend getting married right after me. Was this wedding envy? I mean, I totally get it. I have wedding envy, but to not be able to put your own selfishness aside to truly celebrate your friend is not cool. It's also not a reason to get engaged to someone just so you can have a wedding and continue to be the main character. Again, this might give off bridezilla vibes, but it seriously felt like she couldn't even let me be the center of attention for just those 2 days. Those are the only 2 days I ever truly felt like I could make decisions based on me and my happiness, instead of caring for everyone else. I want to have kids. I'll never have that again. It'll hurt so badly that the people closest to me were the cause of so much pain and grief for me that weekend. I lost this friend, and now this is a story I actually love telling because it's ridiculous and we laugh through the tears. But you know what will make you laugh? Listening to more episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. The other things I lost that weekend, I'm still in therapy for over a year later. A much longer, more intense story. I can only be grateful for all of it because I truly learned how to love and be loved my wedding weekend. And it's helped me grow so much more than I knew I could. I'm happier and healthier than ever, and I'm super happy and in love with my husband. We hope to start a family in the next couple of years. I wish that same happiness for Mia if she ever finds the strength to look at herself in the mirror. And that is the end of that story.